Welcome to another AP Human Geography topic walkthrough, brought to you by Mr. Michael, Social Studies teacher. This video is here to help you fill out your lecture notes, understand the big ideas, and maybe even laugh once or twice. So grab your notes and let's get started.
Let's be real. Culture is everywhere. From your playlist to your plate of pad thai to how you greet your grandma. In this lesson, we're diving into the patterns behind it all. How language, religion, and ethnicity shape entire regions, create powerful identities, and sometimes spark a little drama. We're talking centripetal unity, centrifugal chaos, and everything in between. Let's get into it. Here's the game plan for today. You're going to learn how patterns of language, religion, ethnicity, and gender shape the cultural vibes of a place, from chill unity to full-on chaos. These patterns help create a sense of place, like how Paris feels different from Bangkok, not just because of croissants and tuk-tuks, but because of deep cultural layers. Plus, you'll see how these cultural forces can either pull people together, hello, centripetal, or push them apart, yup, centrifugal. Think of it as cultural chemistry. Sometimes it's peaceful, sometimes it explodes. Ready to break it down with some regional examples? Let's roll. Every region's got its own cultural flavor. And no, we're not just talking about food. Language, religion, and ethnicity all mix together to create what we call a sense of place. It's that distinct feeling you get from being somewhere unique. Like standing on the Great Wall of China, you're not just on a giant ancient fortification. You're experiencing a deep connection to Chinese history, defense strategies, and cultural pride. That sense of place in action. These cultural patterns don't just sit there either. They help shape how people build cities, organize space, and even how they identify themselves globally. Next up, we're zooming out to explore how huge areas of the world, called cultural realms, flex their shared traits. Stay with me. All right, time to level up. Welcome to the world of cultural realms. These are mega regions of the planet where people share big cultural things in common. Language families, religions, food styles, architecture, and even shared histories. Think of them like giant cultural squads. For example, the Islamic realm is tied together by language roots, Islamic traditions, and historic trade routes. But hold up. Don't assume everyone in a realm is a cultural clone. There's still variation within. That's why scale of analysis matters. Zoom in too close, and the big picture disappears. Zoom out too far, and the details get blurry. Kinda like your group project when no one checks the slides before presenting. Let's get more specific by comparing a couple of cultural realms you probably already know. Let's zoom in on the Anglo-American cultural realm. That's mainly the United States and Canada. The dominant language here is English, part of the Indo-European language fam, which you've probably heard every single day since birth. Christianity is the major religion, which influences everything from national holidays to fast food ads, with Bible verses on the cups. The shared history, rooted in European settlement and colonization. And yes, that story is complex, messy, and layered with conflict, migration, and power struggles. The ethnic landscape is diverse too, shaped by indigenous roots, African and European heritage, and Hispanic influence, all of which you can see in food, music, and even Christmas traditions. Now let's slide down the map to Latin America, where the cultural vibes shift, but the patterns are still strong. Next stop, Latin America, where the language is Spanish, the vibes are vibrant, and the culture runs deep. Spanish, part of the Indo-European language family, spread here through colonization, and Roman Catholicism became the dominant religion thanks to European missionaries. But don't forget, Latin America isn't a cultural copy-paste. It's a fusion. You've got Hispanic traditions, indigenous roots, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Latino identities, and European influence all blending together. That's why you'll see Day of the Dead altars next to Catholic cathedrals and hear reggaeton bumping from colonial-era buildings. The shared history, colonization, and with it came both cultural imposition and resistance, shaping the unique landscape we see today. Now let's switch gears from regions that unify to what happens when culture pulls people apart. Time to talk centripetal versus centrifugal forces. Buckle up. All right, time to break out the physics terms, but with a cultural twist. Centripetal forces pull people together. Think of them like the glue that keeps a country stable. A shared language? That's unity. A dominant religion? That's connection. A common ethnic identity? More social harmony. Basically, centripetal forces are the squad goals of a nation. Now, on the flip side, we've got centrifugal forces. And no, they're not just washing machine settings. These are the things that pull people apart. Too many languages with no common one, conflicting religions, ethnic rivalries. That's when you get instability, tension, and sometimes even violence. It's like trying to do a group project when no one speaks the same language. Disaster. Let's see how these forces play out in real life with two case studies, one from Europe and one from the Middle East. Let's bring those cultural forces to life with two powerful examples. First up, Northern Ireland. For decades, tension between Protestants and Catholics created a serious centrifugal situation. Religion wasn't just personal. It shaped political identity, neighborhood borders, and sometimes even violence. The map shows areas dominated by each group, and yep, that division ran deep. Now shift to Iran, where the opposite happens. Shia Islam dominates. More than 90% of the population shares this faith, which actually creates a centripetal force. It unites the country under a shared religious identity, especially compared to neighboring countries with more diversity. But heads up, even centripetal forces can cause external conflict when identities clash across borders. All right, we've covered a lot. From cultural realms to forces of unity and division. Let's lock it all in with a final recap. Okay, squad, time for that brain refresh. Today, we tackled how cultural patterns like language, religion, and ethnicity shape the feel of a place and how they create either unity or chaos. We explored cultural realms like Anglo-America and Latin America, broke down sense of place, and threw hands with centripetal and centrifugal forces, looking at real-world tension in Northern Ireland and unity in Iran. Not bad for one lesson, right? Now it's your turn to flex those APHG muscles with a final challenge. Let's hit the bonus question. Let's see if you were really paying attention. How can the same cultural trait, like religion or language, act as a centripetal force in one region, but a centrifugal force in another? Use examples from the lesson to support your answer, and don't just wing it. Bring the receipts. Drop your answer in the comments and back it up with examples. And don't forget to add your name for that bonus point. Catch you next class, cultural detectives.